Hello, this is Marx Left in Our Economy by me, Caleb Worth, Economics 232 on December 5th of 24. Let's see. First we have our introduction. So in my term paper, I mainly talked about how Marxism, and the popularity of the ideology first came around. I gave a couple of examples of how this helped countries helped and hurt their economies. And then later in my paper, I concluded with a comparison between the ideologies of Karl Marx and John Smith's capitalism economy, comparing just the two different views of how to run a successful economy and how they're created and ran. The main objective of my paper was to further develop my understanding of Marxism and how it came to be. It was also a gold mine to compare capitalism and Marxism to see what was similar and what was different in how they're created and ran. My first point is the struggles of economic class. So Karl Marx viewed economic classes as a major problem to a functional economy. He thought it would lead to a downfall. He commonly argued that social classes shouldn't be based off income, but rather how much one uh, produces for their society. He thought that people would always be consciously aware of like where they ranked in their society, and he thought this would or cause lower class families and lower class citizens to challenge the upper classes and ruling classes for power, causing chaos in the economy and kind of a civil war. Marx also commonly believed that a heavy government influence would help an economy run and bring stability towards wealth distributing throughout the population and just bring stability to the economy. My second point was Marx's vision of a communist society. Marx believed that capitalism would kind of lead to its own destruction, and then lower classes would seek that retaliation on upper classes. Marx developed a new economy where the government takes a very large sum of control over its citizens and kind of maintains the economic classes as one instead of multiple classes dividing up how people are in the economy. In his book, The Communist Manifesto, he said the free development of each is the condition for the free development of all. So in this quote, he's telling everyone that he believes that progress should be for the whole instead of a few citizens. He thought that everyone should be at the same progression as one another, and it shouldn't be others ahead of others. This means that like the development of a communist system could be a free way for lower class families and citizens to enjoy the same luxuries that upper class citizens do, since everyone would be on the same economic status. So, capitalism versus Marxism. With capitalism, it's an economic ideology that individuals and businesses take the control of the production and determine prices by supply and demand of the free market, causing the government to not have very much control over the economy. It puts it more into the hands of the people, with supply and demand being interchangeable with the shifting economic status. The free choices of the people would also lead to different social classes and the income they earn, leading to wealth gaps, where the wealth is unevenly distributed throughout the population, with factors of like ownership compared to workers, when then the role of the government would be very limited as to what they can do. They're mainly there just to interfere with laws and help enforce and regulate, so monopolies don't take control of the free market. Now with Marxism, Marxism was a social philosophy that would eliminate social classes entirely and would be heavily regulated by the government to keep production at a similar rate, with the government being able to control that rate. The government would be able to plan out the future and how much they want to produce and trade with other countries and be able to manipulate the changes for their benefit or however they want to see the country go. Um, Marxism eliminates class struggle since it's not run by the people. The distribution of wealth is equally distributed to all the citizens from the government. Marxism also has a rise towards collectivism, where goods and welfare are a collective game rather than personal achievement for families. The role of the government would be to play this big management position where they redistribute wealth among the citizens while controlling the economy. So, modern day Marxism, these ideologies will be around for many years to come around the world. They're commonly seen in developing countries where the government has a lot of control over their citizens. The ideologies have been observed in the past to have helped developing countries to help grow as a nation and allow for more production and trade to happen in their societies and boost their economies. This would also benefit the developed nations as it would be bring more sources and goods for cheaper prices and keep businesses in certain fields active, and countries would be able to specialize on their needs and focus to build their economies. Marxism is a great building tool for this since with strict regulations from the government, people would have strict jobs to do, allowing for economic growth. So, in my conclusion, Karl Marx was a very influential ideologist. He created solutions to many problems that were seen in capitalism by John Smith. He expressed his struggles in economic classes, showed new ways to stable economies. Um, we compared some of the capitalist uh, economic views compared to Marxism and Karl Marx and his views, and it just gives a new look into economies and how they can be ran in different ways, leading to different results in how the economy runs and how the economy is stabilized. Karl Marx will forever be remembered as in history as for his economic ideas. They will live on for eternity in developing nations. And then for my references, I got David Leopold in 2003 wrote the Philosophies of Karl Marx, published it on the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy. Then Craig Deleuze in 2001, he wrote The Rise of Marxism, the Sacramento Observer. And History.com editors in 2009 wrote Karl Marx on History.com. Thank you all for listening. It was a pleasure. Thank you for your time.